I found out my girlfriend's girls' trip was actually a reunion with her ex. I need to write this down before I lose my mind. My girlfriend Marina and I have been together for 4 years, living together for the last 2. We're the kind of couple that plans everything, quarterly trips, date nights, the whole thing. So when she told me 3 weeks ago, I'm going to Florida for a girls' weekend, so don't expect me to be on my phone much, I was a little surprised but didn't think much of it. She's always been more social than me, loves her friend groups, and honestly I was kind of looking forward to a quiet weekend catching up on work. For context, Marina is super outgoing, the life of every party, while I'm more of the quiet designer type. I do UI/UX work, mostly remote, and I'm pretty content with our routine. Her family, Helen mom, Greg dad, older sister Renee, and younger brother Owen, they're all pretty traditional, big on honesty and family values. They've always been welcoming to me, which made me feel like I'd found my people. So Friday morning comes around and Marina's already gone. She left Thursday night, said she wanted to get there early to settle in. I'm working from home, headphones on, when my phone rings. It's Helen. Hey sweetie, I tried calling Marina but couldn't reach her. Did you two make it to the hotel okay? I pulled my headphones off. Sorry, what? The hotel in Florida. Marina said you guys were doing your usual quarterly trip this weekend. Greg and I were going to send over some local restaurant recommendations. My stomach did this weird flip. Helen, I'm at home. I didn't go anywhere. There was this long silence on the other end. What do you mean you're at home? Marina told us on Monday that you two were going to Florida together like you always do. I felt cold all over. She told me it was a girls' trip with Jenna and Cass, just the 3 of them. Helen's voice got really quiet. Eli, that doesn't make any sense. She specifically said you two were going together. She even asked if we wanted her to bring back any of those key lime cookies from that bakery you like. We stayed on the phone for another minute, both of us trying to make sense of it. After we hung up, I just sat there staring at my computer screen. Then I opened Instagram. Marina's stories were normal beach photos, sunset, drinks by the pool, carefully curated to show just her and the girls. But Marina's friend Jenna wasn't as careful. I clicked on Jenna's story and there it was. A group shot at a restaurant, all 6 of them around a table. I recognized Jenna and Cass immediately, but there were 3 guys with them. My eyes locked on one guy's forearm, a very distinctive tattoo of a bird with spread wings. I'd seen that tattoo before in Marina's old college photos. Leo. Leo was her ex-boyfriend from university. They dated for 2 years before she moved to our city for work. She told me they ended things amicably, stayed friends on social media but barely talked. He lived in San Diego, worked in finance or something. I'd never felt threatened by him because, well, he was ancient history, or so I thought. I zoomed in on the photo. That was definitely him. Same watch too, this chunky steel thing he wore in every old photo. My hands were shaking. I did something else I'm not proud of. Marina sometimes works from home and leaves her laptop on the kitchen counter. I opened it. No password, we trusted each other like that, or I thought we did. I found what I was looking for in about 30 seconds. A group chat called Girls Trip, except it very clearly wasn't just girls. The chat had 6 people: Marina, Leo, Jenna, Connor, apparently Jenna's boyfriend, Cass, and Evan, Cass's boyfriend. I scrolled up. The planning for this trip started 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks of Marina lying to my face every single day. Marina's message from 2 weeks ago told Eli it's just us girls. He totally bought it. Jenna's response: girl, you're terrible, Elmau Marina. What he doesn't know won't hurt him. Besides, it's not like anything's gonna happen. We're all adults. Leo: can't wait to see you, been too long. I screenshotted everything. Every single message. Then I sent them all to Helen with a simple text: I'm so sorry, I think you should see this. Helen just called me back. She's furious. Not at me, at Marina. She said she's handling it. I don't know what that means, but her voice was scary calm. So that's what happened. I don't even know what I'm asking here. I guess I just wanted to let this all out somewhere. I'll update you guys if something happens. But for now, I might need some time to process all this. Update 1. Holy hell, I did not expect this post to blow up like this. Thank you all for the support and the reality checks. I needed both. So here's what happened after I sent those screenshots to Helen. I didn't hear anything for about an hour. Then my phone started blowing up. First it was Renee, Marina's sister, calling me, then Owen, her brother, then Greg, her dad. Everyone was asking me if what Helen showed them was real. I confirmed everything and sent them the screenshots too. Greg was the one who told me what Helen did. Apparently she took those screenshots and posted them in their family group chat, which has like 15 people in it, aunts, uncles, cousins, the works. She didn't hold back either. Captioned it something like, "This is what our Marina is doing while lying to everyone who loves her." But that's not even the wildest part. Helen found Leo's current girlfriend on Instagram, a woman named Sophie who lives in San Diego, and sent her everything too. Every screenshot, every flirty message, the whole timeline showing that Marina and Leo had been planning this reunion for weeks. Sophie apparently lost it. She took those messages and posted them publicly, tagging Leo, Marina, and all their friends. Within hours, everyone knew. Marina started blowing up my phone that afternoon. I didn't answer. I was honestly in shock at how fast everything was unraveling. She left me 7 voicemails. The first few were angry, accusing me of spying on her, violating her privacy, betraying her trust. The irony wasn't lost on me. By the 5th voicemail, she was crying. By the 7th, she was begging me to call Helen and tell her to delete the messages from the family group chat. I didn't call her back. Instead, I called Greg. "Eli, son, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this," he said. "We had no idea she was capable of something like this." He told me that Helen had already cut off Marina's access to the family credit card, which apparently Marina still used for emergencies, and removed her from their shared phone plan. They weren't messing around. "We raised her better than this," Greg said. His voice cracked a little. "The lying to you is bad enough, but lying to us, using us as her cover story, that's not who we thought she was." Then he said something that stuck with me. "Eli, I want you to know that whatever you need to do to protect yourself, we support you. If that means changing the locks on your apartment, do it. Marina's name isn't on the lease, is it?" "It isn't. The apartment is entirely in my name. She moved in with me when her old lease ended, but we never added her officially because, honestly, we just never got around to it. I'll cover the locksmith if you need me to," Greg offered. "You don't owe her access to your home after this." I sat with that for a while after we hung up. Around 8 p.m., I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. It was Sophie, Leo's girlfriend. She introduced herself and apologized for reaching out, but said she thought I should know the full story. Turns out Marina and Leo had been texting for months. Not constantly, but regularly enough. Sophie found their old messages going back to January, casual at first, then more frequent. Marina had told Leo she missed him, missed what they once had, that sometimes she wondered what would have happened if they'd stayed together. Leo had apparently eaten it up. Sophie sent me screenshots. In one message from March, Marina wrote, "Sometimes I feel like I settled. Eli's great, but he's so safe, you know, safe." That's what all I was to her, safe. Like that was a flaw. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Sophie told me that Leo had been distant for weeks, always on his phone, and now she finally knew why. She'd already kicked him out of their apartment. She thanked me for accidentally exposing him and said she hoped I'd find someone who deserved me. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every conversation, every trip, every time Marina had smiled at me and told me she loved me. How much of it was real? How much of it was just convenient? The next morning, yesterday, I made a decision. I took Greg's advice and called a locksmith. While I was waiting for him to arrive, Marina posted something on Facebook. I only know because 3 people sent it to me. It was this long, dramatic post about how I was controlling and toxic, how I'd invaded her privacy and turned her family against her, how she was the victim in all of this. The comments section tore her apart. People who'd seen the screenshots from Sophie's post were calling her out left and right. One of her own cousins commented, "Girl, stop. We all saw what you did." She deleted it within an hour. The locksmith came at noon. It cost me $280 to change both locks and get new keys made. I made 3 copies, one for me, one for my desk drawer, and one that I mailed to Greg just in case. I also called the police non-emergency line to ask about my rights. The officer I spoke to was really helpful. He confirmed that since Marina wasn't on the lease and had no legal tenancy agreement, I was within my rights to deny her access to the apartment. He suggested that when she came back, I should let her collect her belongings during a scheduled time with either me or a police officer present, just to avoid any, she said, situations. I took his advice. Marina's flight was supposed to land this evening. I still haven't responded to any of her messages. There isn't exactly anything to say at this point. I don't know what I'm going to say when she shows up at the door and realizes her key doesn't work. Part of me feels guilty, not for Marina, but for her family. They're good people, and now they have to deal with this mess because their daughter couldn't keep it in her pants. The other part keeps replaying what she wrote about me in those messages, and thinks she deserves every bit of it. Edit. She just texted me that she landed. She's taking an Uber home. I guess I'll update you all tomorrow on how that goes. To everyone asking why I'm not just blocking her, I need to coordinate getting her stuff out of the apartment. I can't just ghost her completely, even if I want to. But after that. Yeah, she's blocked on everything. Update 2. I need to write this down while it's still fresh because the last 48 hours have been absolutely insane. So Marina got to the apartment around 9 p.m. on Saturday. I heard her trying her key in the lock. Once, twice, 3 times. Then silence. Then pounding on the door. Eli, open the door, my key isn't working. I stood on the other side, heart hammering, and said through the door, I changed the locks. More silence. Then, what? Why would you do that? You know why? Another pause, then came the screaming. Eli, this is my home too, you can't just lock me out. Actually, I can. Your name isn't on the lease. You don't live here legally. I heard her try the key again like she thought I was bluffing. When it didn't work, she started crying. Not quiet crying either, loud, heaving sobs that I'm sure the neighbors could hear. She went through the whole cycle. First begging, please let her in, she could explain everything, it wasn't what it looked like. Then bargaining, nothing happened with Leo, they were just friends. Yes, she lied, but only because she knew I'd overreact. Then anger, I'd violated her trust by going through her messages. I was the toxic one, how dare I? When I wouldn't budge, she threatened to call the police and tell them I was illegally evicting her. Go ahead, I said through the door. I already talked to them. You have no legal right to be here. That's when she really lost it. Screaming that I was abusive, that I was trapping her, that she had nowhere to go. I almost caved. Almost. But I kept thinking about those messages, about the months of planning, about how easily the lies had come to her. You can stay with your parents, I told her. I can't, they won't let me in the house. Your little stunt with my mom ruined everything. My stunt, I sent your mom the truth. You created this mess. She kept screaming and pounding on the door for another 20 minutes. Eventually, my neighbor from across the hall, this older guy named Marcus, opened his door and asked if everything was okay. Marina immediately started sobbing to him, saying I'd locked her out of her own home, that she had nowhere to go. I finally opened the door and stepped out. Marcus looked at me. I showed him the lease on my phone with just my name on it. He nodded, then turned to Marina. Ma'am, I'm sorry, but if you don't have legal tenancy here, you need to leave. If you don't, I'm calling the police for disturbing the peace. That sobered her up quick. She went quiet, grabbed her suitcase, and left. As she walked toward the elevator, she turned back and screamed, You're going to regret this. Everyone's going to know what kind of person you really are. I said nothing. Just went back inside and closed the door. The next morning, Marina made good on her threat. She posted this massive Facebook rant about how I'd manipulated her family against her, how I'd stolen her home, how I was vindictive and cruel. She painted herself as this victim who'd made one small mistake and was now being punished by an evil, controlling ex. The post got maybe 50 reactions before reality caught up with her. People started commenting with screenshots, the same ones Sophie had posted, the same ones Helen had shared. Someone even found old posts from Marina about our quarterly trips and pointed out that she'd been lying about this one specifically. She deleted the post within 3 hours. Then she deleted her entire Facebook account. It was honestly kind of funny. I don't know how she thought that would work, considering it already failed the first time she tried it. And I don't even need to lift a finger. Helen called me that afternoon. Eli, I'm sorry. We told Marina she could stay with us until she figured things out, but we had to set boundaries. She came home Saturday night and immediately started trashing you to anyone who'd listen. When we confronted her with the evidence, she called me a terrible mother and said we'd all betrayed her. What happened? I asked. We told her she had 24 hours to find somewhere else to stay. This morning she packed her stuff and left. I don't know where she went. She's not answering our calls. Helen sounded exhausted. I keep asking myself where we went wrong with her. We taught her better than this. It's not your fault. She made her own choice, I told her. I know, but it still hurts. That evening, I got a call from the police. An officer asked if I could come down to the station because Marina had filed a report claiming I'd illegally evicted her and stolen her belongings. I brought my lease, text messages, and the recording from my phone of our conversation through the door. I'd started recording when I heard her key in the lock, just in case. The officer reviewed everything and told me Marina's claim had no merit. However, he said, she does have the right to collect her personal belongings. I'd recommend you schedule a time for her to come get her things with either you or an officer present. That way there's no dispute about what belongs to who. I agreed. The officer actually offered to be there himself when Marina came by, which felt both reassuring and surreal. We scheduled it for Monday at 4 p.m. Marina showed up with her brother Owen. I was relieved it was him and not one of her friends. Owen's always been the most level-headed one in the family. He gave me this apologetic look as they walked in. I'm just here to help her move her stuff, he said quietly. For what it's worth, I'm sorry, man. The officer stood in the living room while Marina went through the apartment, grabbing clothes, toiletries, books. She didn't look at me once, didn't say a word, just packed everything into boxes that Owen carried down to his car. When she got to the bedroom, I heard her start crying again. The officer looked at me and I just shook my head. I wasn't going in there. After about 90 minutes, they were done. Owen carried the last box down, then came back up alone. She's staying with our grandmother in Virginia for now, he told me. Our parents can't handle her right now and none of her friends want to deal with her drama. I just wanted you to know she's not like homeless or anything. Thanks for telling me. And Eli, I'm really sorry. What she did was messed up. We all know that. After they left, I walked through the apartment. It felt bigger somehow, emptier. Her plants were gone from the windowsill. Her shoes weren't by the door. The bathroom counter didn't have her makeup scattered across it. It felt like I could finally breathe. I spent the rest of the evening boxing up a few things she'd forgotten: a phone charger, some hair ties, a book she'd left on the nightstand. I'd mail them to Owen's address later. I didn't want any excuse for her to come back. That night I ordered pizza and watched a movie I'd wanted to see for months, but Marina had always vetoed because she thought it looked boring. It was actually pretty good. For the first time in a week, I felt okay. Edit. A lot of you are asking about Leo. From what Sophie told me, she kicked him out the same day everything blew up. His roommate, they apparently had a roommate situation before he moved in with Sophie, won't take him back, so I think he's couch surfing. Karma's working overtime. Final update. I wasn't planning to post another update, but something happened yesterday that I needed to share. It's been almost a month since everything exploded. I've been spending time reconnecting with friends I'd let fade, and honestly feeling like I was finally moving forward. The apartment feels like mine again. I rearranged everything, hung up art I'd bought years ago but never put up because Marina didn't like it. Small things, but they mattered. Now for the updates on Marina and Leo, since I know you're all curious. Marina's still living with her grandmother in Virginia. Owen told me she lost her job, took unapproved time off for Florida, then had a meltdown when HR questioned her about it. Her social circle imploded. Most of her college friends sided with Sophie, and her local friends wanted nothing to do with the drama. Marina's basically isolated at this point. She tried coming home 2 weeks ago, apologizing and promising she'd changed. Helen and Greg let her stay for 3 days before she fell back into old patterns, blaming everyone else, playing victim. Greg told her she needed to leave and work on herself first. So from what I hear, things between Marina and her family are still pretty tense. I don't really stay in touch with Helen and Greg anymore, not much, at least. But I do hope they work it out someday for their peace of mind. As for Marina, she's not my problem anymore. Leo's life fell apart even harder. Sophie found out he'd been cheating on her multiple times, not just the Marina thing. She'd confronted mutual friends who admitted they knew but didn't want to get involved. She then posted everything publicly. His company has a morality clause and his behavior brought unwanted attention to the firm. He got fired. Last I heard from Sophie, we've actually become friendly. He moved back in with his parents in Arizona since he couldn't afford to live on his own anymore. Sophie also told me that my accidental exposure saved her from wasting more years with him. Then she said something that hit hard. I know Marina hurt you, but you should know, after the trip fell apart, she and Leo had a massive fight. He told her she was delusional if she thought he'd actually leave me for her. Apparently the whole Florida thing was just a hookup plan for him, nothing more. She genuinely thought they were going to get back together. The Florida trip group fractured completely. Connor broke up with Jenna. Apparently he didn't know the full story, and when everything blew up, he told her the lying was a deal-breaker. Evan and Cass are trying to work through it, but it's apparently not going well. So Marina blew up her entire life for a guy who was just using her. I might feel sorry for her if she hadn't done the exact same thing to me first. What goes around really does come around. As for me, I've met someone new. I'm starting over this time on my own terms. Her name's Clara. She's a UX researcher. We met at a design conference about 2 weeks ago. We've been on 3 dates. Nothing serious yet, but she's different. She actually listens. She asks my opinion on things. When I mentioned my breakup ended badly, she didn't pry. Just said she hoped I was doing okay. It feels easy, in a good way. Last week, something unexpected happened. I got a text from an unknown number. It was Marina. I know you probably hate me. You have every right to. But I want you to know that you deserved better than what I gave you. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find someone who appreciates how good you are. It was Marina. The apology I might have wanted to hear a month ago felt hollow now. I showed it to my Clara this morning. She asked how I felt about it. Honestly, nothing. I don't feel angry or sad or vindicated. I just don't care, she smiled. That's growth. I deleted the message. Blocked that number too. Then I asked Clara if she wanted to check out this museum exhibit this weekend. She said yes. I'm not looking to be someone's exciting secret or their backup plan. I'm looking to be someone's first choice. And you know what? I think I'm going to be okay. So that's it. That's the update. I'm leaving all of this behind and focusing on my own life from here on out. Thanks for sticking around through the mess, Reddit.